All right, so before we get into this, I want to just highlight your one of your posts real quick. This is probably one of my favorite posts of the week. Um, you were talking about pots and pans, and so like I love this because it's like most people don't understand this information. So it's like you coming with it. It made sense because you're the health guy, and so this post was beautiful, talking about how what is the best pot or pan to have, and ideally stainless steel is probably the overall best, versus cast iron, I would say. um but of course everything else has some type of chemical on it, which is no good, and then if not, it's aluminum, which is no good. So this was amazing, and I love this post, so thank you so much for that.
Glad to share.
um and so you are the community owner of the Gallstones tribe.
Hmm.
So can you tell me a little bit about what you guys do in there?
Yeah. For the past about what 30 years, my wife Shani and I have been helping people with all kinds of health issues, but our flagship is helping people lose their gallstones without surgery, without losing their gallbladder. I was the first patient. It was quite an experience, and once that we went through that first experience, we realized this is a treasure trove. It's valuable. It can save a lot of pain.
Right.
And over the years, we developed with the culture of what was around us. At first, it was a very technical, at-home thing that we did, and then the latest version of our upgrade to the 21st century was opening a community so that we could actually help people all around the world with this and not just locally here in Israel. And so this community is actually like a hub where people come in, they go through the process under our supervision, and they also enjoy the benefits of a community. In other words, people sharing what they're experiencing, people who are 3 steps ahead telling how it was, and reducing their anxiety over what's waiting for them. And we are sharing recipes, and everybody can bring their own, and we can argue about what's actually best for the process. And it's like a place that can really help people get through this full process instead of just going through the first phase and just fading away, which is very often what happened before we opened this community. Life takes over. So this community actually allowed us two very important things. They allow us to help our local community go through a better process, including a course inside that actually helps them understand exactly how to do the process and repeat it without forgetting all the details, and opening up the whole world to this opportunity of gaining what we gained through our years and decades of experience.
No, that's awesome. It sounds like the system is kind of perfect, because for those who are struggling along the way, you have those that are further along the journey to like cheer them on, because it's like, yeah, coming from you is one thing, but now seeing somebody like in the midst of the process still like carrying you on through the process is a powerful thing. So
Mhm.
like that's what's really amazing about school, and just your community alone. So I'm guessing this is the process, the 4 phases right here. Journey, you got clarity, preparation, supervised flush, and prevention.
Yeah, overall, that's all that's needed.
Right.
But the truth is, there's another layer to it. And
Of
that's
course.
another reason why a community becomes a very powerful tool. One of the basics of health that's not commonly enough practiced is the learn from the disease process. In other words, there's no such thing as just happened. Every disease is a way of educating us towards better health, better living, listening more into the body's needs, being attentive to what the body says, because very often it's very, very clear and we're like ignoring it. If we have a headache, we just take a pill instead of asking, why do I have a headache, and actually resolving the original issue. I joke that the most important part of the pill is the water you drink it with, because very often it's just dehydration. So, when you look at the gallstones specifically, gallstones, one of the reasons why we're sticking with it for 30 years is a huge lesson. It's actually 10 different lessons because it teaches us both nutrition and lifestyle in general, like being more in motion, sleeping enough, being happy with our life, better self-realization, because every idea we have in our drawers, stuck somewhere waiting, turns into gallstones. That's a Chinese saying. So it actually helps people deal with that as well, and with stress management, which is also crucial for prevention.
Right.
It's like one lesson that actually holds within it like 10. And when you go into a process like with one-on-one with a client, with a patient, there's only so much most patients will take from that process, because most patients don't just dive into a 3-year-long process. They take whatever they need for the immediate pain and, relieving the part that causes the most anxiety. And very often they'll just move on. Okay, I've done enough.
Right.
And actually getting with people to that deeper lesson and actually revealing everything that can be gained, that usually happens only with those few patients who really, really understand the value of it, so they stick by the process. Now, in a community, even those that don't have the money to actually go ahead and see us like every week now for a couple of years, or those that have less patience, they stick around because it's a community, and whether they notice it or not, they actually glean a hell of a lot of added value without feeling like they're investing too much, because the community doesn't cost as much as it would cost monthly sessions with us, let alone weekly sessions. But they still get our time. They still get a couple of sessions a month on Zoom in group setting, of course. And so it allows a lot more people to go through a lot more in-depth processes than a regular clinic will allow.
I get exactly what you're saying, because that's the reason why I love your post in there too. Is because it's the community starts to give back to the community, versus it just being me. So like it's way better when it's like somebody who's gained the experience is now feeding the community. If I don't necessarily have the time to answer that question, most of the times it's like a question is already answered by somebody. And so it's like, because of that type of tribe and that ability to have people just come together and just share willingly and not holding back that information. And that's the most important part. And that's why I'm like truly grateful for all the posts that you've been putting in there, because it's like it's true value. Because it's like, if you do clear the clutter, it's like your mind will be less messy, because your mind is just as messy as what's going on in the outside world. So it's like, just by structuring yourself in a way where it's like, okay, it's clean. When I come here, I could get work done. I don't have to like worry about cleaning up my table first and then getting work done. I could just get into it. So it's very helpful.
Yeah, and I'm sure, the more people come into this kind of a community and each sharing his own angle on life, you actually have like a whole toolbox to deal with the whole thing, and not just what you bring to the table as a manager, as a community leader. That's part of the beauty here, because one of the community members, it's a lot more fun this way, is also a singer. So yeah, maybe that have its space. Another one is doing yoga, humor yoga. I don't know how it's called in English nowadays, but they actually turn humor into a therapeutic tool. So she might have her space. It'll help her grow, and everybody will gain by it. Another one is a cook. So yeah, we give our angles, but she can say, "Ooh, I can turn that into something even tastier."
Right.
Everybody brings their color, and that's the beauty of it.
Exactly, and that's what I enjoy about it too. What made you join school? Was it like?
Well, the truth is, I came here like totally from the wrong reason, so to speak. I was actually attracted to here by Frank Kern, if you know the name. He's one of those entrepreneurs American entrepreneurs that really bring a lot of high level humor, rough, rugged kind of humor into stuff. And I followed him in here because I was thinking, oh, that's an interesting way of learning from him. And when I realized that school is actually a community of communities, and I started checking the other options here, I was hooked. I was badly hooked. I had like 15 different communities I was trying to visit all at once. And,
Yeah.
it's really amazing the amount of things you can gain just by freely going back and forth between different communities here. It is truly amazing. And actually, it's only after I realized that this is the environment here that I realized it's also a perfect place for me. Because it's that kind of environment I was looking for. Instead of just putting up some ad and sending people to some website, I can send people to be together. It's far more logical.
Right, for sure. I get that sense too, because it's like you could talk to the people here in other communities and bring those people to your community.
Yeah,
Because
I mean, even just by sharing
here,
value, you don't actually have to talk to them in person. Either if what you're selling, so to speak, is exactly what they need and they like your vibe, at first they'll just follow you, which is one of the lovely options within the system. And eventually, if they actually need your help, they'll probably follow you into your community. It's the perfect solution.
yeah, one of my first members, they made a comment on schoolers. I answer or a post on schoolers. I answered their, well, quote unquote answer, because their post had so many other questions that I posed to like answer that question. And so it's like, yeah, it's already a paragraph with just like answering just these few things with questions. And so I was like, hey, you want to just like, I DM'd them. I was like, you want to just go on like a Google Meet or maybe live in your community so that to figure out what's going on. And so after solving her problem, she instantly came into the community pretty much within like 30 minutes. And so it was like, yeah, that's exactly what I assumed it would be. It's just providing value with no, like, I wasn't like, I didn't force her to do it or anything. I was just like giving her value. And
Yeah.
so it's just immediately from that value, it's like giving and receiving, the universal law.
And it's
So,
more than just giving and receiving. It's about, hey, I got so much value here. I'll probably get a lot more if I'm actually part of that community instead of randomly, attracting his attention in a huge space like schoolers.
right,
So it's the most natural course of action. But even if it doesn't happen every time, you're still interacting with so many good souls.
right. And it's making impact.
Yeah.
It for me, it's not about the monetary thing. It's like the only reason why there's a price on it is because you won't value it if there's no price. I've been the type of person who had plenty of courses. Like sometimes it was $100, sometimes it was $7. Maybe it's even a book, right? It's like we undervalue the information because we didn't pay enough for it. And so if we pay enough, I paid for a $10,000 mastermind. And best believe I did definitely paid attention that time because it was a big investment. So it's like there are all these different seasons of educating myself, and it's always like a constant learning game. I'm a student of life, and
Yeah.
so the more I learn, the more I know that I don't know anything because there's so much to learn. Like it's like I could become, let's say, a master business person, but then it's like, okay, but there's relationships. There's like being a parent. That's a skill to master. Then there's like, maybe taking care of maintenance, whether that's the car, the house, that's a skill to master. So it's like all these different things, but then those are just the basics of life, right? And then you get into like the hobbies and the real adventurous type of things.
Let
But
alone the fact that even if you take just one of these skills and dive deep, it could take a lifetime or
right,
two. I mean, just getting things up, marketing wise, it's
right.
changing all the time. I keep
Right.
having to learn new tools. It's like impossible to even keep up.
For sure, it's moving very fast, and it's like using AI is a definite benefit because I know like it used to take me maybe like a good month to put a bunch of emails together, right? And now, so it's easier to craft. And then it's like before it had to be thrown into a grade calculator and then be like, okay, now I got to shrink this down into that grade. But then I could instantly tweak that with AI as well, and then make my little slight tweaks to it. And so it's like it becomes way faster in that sense.
Of
But
course, that's assuming you chose the right tool and not one of 50 others.
Right, of course. I used to be the one who had 20 plus 50 different softwares. And so how much work did I get done?
There's
Zero.
nothing.
So
And
not
again, once you have a
right,
community with all kinds of skills already available, you don't have to actually build all those skills. You can actually say, okay, I need help.
right,
I need this specific skill. Who can help me with that skill? Who already has that skill?
right,
Why bother learning everything? I mean, it's like, why would you be a lawyer and a professional of this, that, and your accountant and a builder of your home and etc.? Why would you need that? Why
right,
not have other people do their professional things and stick to your guns, stick to your where you're like they say where you're to your genius zone,
right.
and have everyone else fill up the gaps. If we do it in both ways, if we help each other out, each with his own skill sets, we don't have to study all those skills.
Right. It's definitely a thing where I feel like in school or in the past, many people were like, focus on your weaknesses and know your strengths, right? And it's like, no, like you need to know your weaknesses so you can find the person who fills that gap. So you could delegate that. And it's like, that's his strength. Okay. Oh, Chen is really good at this. Let's give it to him because that'll make my life easier. I hate doing that. And so it's like it creates a way better experience. But most people like don't like to delegate. But it's just naturally, let's say I could be the best, marketer in the world. But I have to do marketing, I have to do accounting, I have to do logistics in the business. I have to worry about, my fitness probably. I gotta worry about the billing cycle of everything. So it's like I gotta wear probably 30 different hats while running a business versus this and I could be excellent at all of them, right? But I don't have the 8 hours. So that's why you give it to somebody. They have the 8 hours. Even though you're better, they could do more.
Yeah, maybe
Whoever does more wins the game.
that's part of where the world is going, by the way, at this point, because it used to be that a person would be like one profession and that's it. That's the only hat he would wear, and that was his life. And then there's this phase where everybody seems to try to wear all the hats and literally do everything in their business and forget the fact that there are other people out there. And it made it crazy. It made it impossible. And I think the AI actually made it even more so because, I mean, think about it. Have you noticed that website? There's an AI for that.
No, I
I
haven't seen
think the latest count was like 28,000 tools. There is no way in the world that one person could actually know even what those 28,000 tools are,
right. And
let
how it
alone to
works.
build them. It's a lesson in humility, I would consider it. Just let go of all that you need to control everything. Be very good at what you do. And like you said, delegate it. Find those people to do the rest. If you're good at what you're good, it's going to be well worth paying other people to do their part. And if it's within a community, very often it'll be just, this for that. It doesn't have to even be money. I mean, it could just be a mutual sustaining system.
Right.
And in the case of your beautiful community here, our beautiful community here.
Hours. It's
I mean, think about it. If you want to teach people so many things, it's a lot easier to have all the people you need to teach every one of those things rather than you trying to teach everything, isn't it right?
right, for sure. It's like,
So,
you have a machine gun and you're going brrr.
yeah.
Like it's like, okay, where's your target? Oh no.
And
So
where's your proficiency and where's your depth and where's your life experience that come with it?
right.
It becomes flat when you try to do everything. You can't possibly go in depth into all of them unless you're some Da Vinci.
Not even he just focused on what great artists steal, he said.
No,
So
actually, he focused on 50 different things as an artist. He actually created machine guns. He invented like so many different things that he was actually dabbling with everything about life.
mhm,
He was like one of those unique people who could actually do it and not just think about it and maybe I can do this too. He actually did
right.
50 different things. But they're so unique, those people that can do that. Most people, at best, can be really good at one or two things. They'll probably be happier for it.
No, for sure. Looking at all the because you can do everything. Shiny object syndrome. It's like, yeah, you could do that, you can do this. Oh wow, that. But it's like, then how great can you become by doing that? It's like you're mediocre at best. And it's like, do you want to be mediocre in everything or be the best, writer there is? So you just grab a pen and you just write for 5 minutes a day. That's all you do. And like with that skill build up over 10 years, it's like you become masterful in those 5 minutes. You do way more than anybody else could do within those 5 minutes. And everybody's like, yo, how do you write a masterpiece, a 10-page essay in 5 minutes? Well, he trained like that. So based on your perception or your ability to train in whatever method it is that's crazy to others, it's like, okay, let's go back 30 years. This thing right here would be like, no, this is witchcraft. This is black magic. There's no way that you're gonna be able to call somebody and be like, yeah, hello, and then be like, oh, let me send you this picture real quick. Text them, and then be like, hey, wait, hey, how you doing, brother? Right there on the screen. It's like, no, they're gonna be like, that's impossible. But what I like about impossible is if you slash it in half, it means impossible. So there's nothing in this reality that's impossible. Everything is a possibility.
Mhm. Indeed.
For sure.
Well, I would really like to see this vision come that next 10 years in advance, because I would love to see it. I have a feeling it's going to be beautiful. Both um, the idea to really give the knowledge to the world, your dream is really beautiful. And even just my crazy idea of actually getting to the point that I can actually help people lose their gallstones, 100 people in a week instead of like 2 or 3 a month,
Right.
and actually have a full staff all over the world doing that, because it's also something that that this kind of community can build, because you have people from all over the world, so if a person needs support within his process at any given hour, somebody is actually alert,
Right.
somebody's actually asleep. So building an international community means you're actually giving opportunities to processes that regularly would be almost impossible, because where would I find like 20 people from all over the world I could work with
Right.
that would actually be available at any given time and would love the idea of helping people? Oh yeah, maybe look it up at school. Yeah.
Right. Even the map system, it's like, eventually our communities become so big where it's like, oh, like you could have a meetup with this person about your gallstones. They could actually see you. Okay, we can have a meetup about whatever it is. And it's like, oh, let's just meet each other. Let's just have a meetup right here. So it's like it gives us so many options. And it's like, what one day I was driving from Texas to New York and I had a flat tire. I blew out my tire about like 600 miles away from my destination. And so I had a spare tire, but a spare tire is only rated for 50 miles. So I have to go basically 10 times that to make it to my destination. And so at the time, what it made me think about, I was like, it'll be so impressive to make an app where it's like just everybody's all over the place and they just want to genuinely help you. They don't look for like any money benefit or anything like that. It's like we genuinely just look to help you in your situation. So it's like if somebody had a spare tire for me, they'll just give it to me. Here, take that. I'll take this from, and we just swap. And so I was like, making a community or a place where that kind of collaboration could happen would be really impressive to me. And it's like a genuine place where people want to help you succeed, which is what we're thinking of, or what we're creating in our communities right here on school. And it's like I really haven't had a negative experience on school. I know there's people out there. I know there's bots out there, of course. Like that's like
Yeah, the bots are the
basic.
most creative ones.
Yeah, that's the basics. It's like, okay, there's going to always be that. There's that on Facebook, there's that on Instagram, on TikTok. So it's like that's a part of the process. But we're in a interesting place where it's like there's many people here, but not too many people all at the same time, where it's like too crazy. So we're in an interesting, unique atmosphere where we can make a lot of waves because we're kind of like the first wave of school people of this new wave of building communities specifically. because I think that's the next wave of stuff that would happen. Instead of gurus having, you know, their books, their courses or whatever, it's going to switch to like it's already switching to personal brands specifically, and then
Mhm.
now it's going to switch to personal brands with a personal community, so you could have your personal AI all at the same time. So like that's the wave that I'm thinking about right there.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. Uh, People, one of the reasons why communities is becoming so central and why it's growing so fast now is because people are actually experiencing something very uncomfortable with AI and technology and big cities. That's actually been happening for a while, and that is a feeling that they're alone and surrounded by people.
Right.
Because if you fall on the street in the middle of New York, I don't know how long it'll take before somebody will actually pick you up.
Yeah, they'll keep walking. They don't care.
Yeah, they're too stressed. They'll not even notice it happen in most cases. It's not like they're unkind. It's like it's you're alone in a bubble surrounded by millions of people. And people actually need that one-on-one or one-on-many, but real connection type of vibe.